All right, so we've got the introduction. Does anyone remember what the book says about the three parts of the introduction? Ornella, are you ready? Two of them? Okay. Hook, yeah, and thesis. Yeah, and the part that comes in between.
Is that you could ask some questions to the audience.
Yeah, well, so the hook is going to be like the questions. I forget the other types, like anecdote. I think that was one that they said be careful with. Humor. Oops, I can't spell, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Quote, yeah. Quote, I think definition. I invite you to, does anyone remember the other ones? Yeah. Fact. Okay. Yeah, like interesting fact. Something like that. So yeah, and then between the hook and the thesis is this transition. So because the hook can be something that isn't super academic, but your thesis statement is academic. It's going to be this preview. This preview of your paper. So the idea that you're going to tell your audience, you're telling your audience, okay, these are the topics that this paper is going to cover. So preview of your paper. So you want to transition from something that maybe is a little like out there. It's this question. It's something that's a little less academic to something that is a little more academic. So this preview of your paper. So that's the introduction, and the other part the next part we're gonna look at are the body paragraphs, which are the most important part of your paper. Another thing about introduction, my recommendation is write it after your body paragraphs. I recently took a test where I had to write an essay, and that's what I did. I wrote my body paragraphs so that I could have a good idea about what I was going to be introducing. Because if I decide this is what I'm going to write about and then it doesn't end up working out, that can be a problem. So it can be easier to write it after you've written your body paragraphs. Of course, you don't have to follow this advice. That's just my idea. So these are the three parts, and if you're not sure what these mean, I do encourage you to look at the book, and they give some more details in there. The body paragraphs. So what do we know about body paragraphs? Yes?
You put a transition topic sentence.
Okay, yeah.
And then you start analyzing and explaining, like, how does this prove your idea or your topic sentence?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and another thing is that included in that analysis and that explanation, yeah.
I think evidence is another part of that, so looking at different elements of the articles and how they relate to your ideas.
Yes, exactly. So this is generally how American academic writing goes. I've challenged myself to read a bunch of, scientific papers, things like that, and they generally follow this format where you introduce it, you get an example, and then there's this explanation that explains why that example is important or how that example proves the topic, the idea you have in your topic sentence. I call these pie paragraphs, like these chunks are kind of like pie because you have the point, your main idea, you have the information, and then you have the explanation. So why is your example important / why does it prove the idea you wrote in your point? So that's what you're doing in the explanation. And the explanation can be the trickiest to get right, but it can be also the most important. So, yeah. So these are, by the way, I want to let you know I am recording this and it'll go up on YouTube. So if you don't get everything, that's okay. You'll have a chance to watch it. But I understand it can be better when you're right here, right now. So that's a big part of it. What else? What about readings? If we have a synthesis, if we're writing a synthesis paper, paper, I'm going to put source requirement. So this is important for a synthesis paper where you're focusing on these topics, you're not focusing on individual articles. So you get, luckily for the annotated bibliography is a place where you can focus on the individual articles. So what would be the requirement for, what was the requirement for sources in each body paragraph, your last paper? Remember? Yeah.
The last one?
Sorry?
For the paper one?
Yeah, paper one.
Each article at least one time and at least 2 articles per month.
Exactly. Yeah. So at least 2, or at least 2 articles per body paragraph, and each. Oops. One time. Whole paper. So I realize this feels almost like kind of like you have to do a checklist, and the idea is like there's this rule that sort of brings you to writing this synthesis paper. It can feel like it's really limiting, but the idea is you're getting these rules so that you get to try it out and you can practice this writing that you'll probably see a lot in your other classes. Those are going to be the main parts of your body paragraphs. I want to make sure that we get to conclusion really quickly so that way you have that information. What's in the conclusion? Does anyone remember? Yeah.
You restate your thesis, you don't introduce new ideas, and you put a reason to remember.
All right, so restate thesis, don't introduce new ideas, and then, sorry, what was the last one?
Your reason to remember.
Okay, yeah, so, closing hook, give your audience, audience, a reason to remember your ideas. Okay, so yeah, that's good. That's the gist of it. So you have this information written out. I won't be posting this document, but like I said, I will be posting the video so that if you missed anything, what you can do is you can go back and watch the video. Keep thinking about your paper, keep thinking about your topic, finding your articles. There's no homework except for what's due next week, which is the paper or the proposal on Monday and the annotated bibliographies on Friday. What is special about class this Friday? No class. Yes, do not come to class. Otherwise, there'll be no one else here except for you and the other people who forgot. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Wednesday, but not on Friday.